Hey, loves. Welcome to today's very first Survivor Story episode. Today's guest does wish to stay anonymous, so to protect her privacy, we will be calling her Erica. Erica's story is what this podcast is all about: courage and finding strength through the pain. Her story is raw, powerful, and so incredibly inspiring. And we are extremely grateful that she feels brave enough to come share her story with you all today. Erica, thank you so much for being here and trusting us with your story. We want you to know that you're in full control of what you share today. And if at any point you need to pause, take a breath, or skip a question, that's completely okay. This is your story, and we're just here to hold space for it. So, I see that you have a friend sitting here with you. I absolutely love that. Do we want to start and talk a little bit about your guys' friendship and what it means to have her sit here with you today?
Sure. We met in second grade when I first moved here, and we have been like soul sisters ever since.
I love that.
We've been friends ever since. We had a long period in between, but when we just picked up, like, there was no time. So,
That's awesome. I love that. Well, thank you for being here today and, supporting her through this. We know it's not easy to talk about, stories like this and trauma that we've been through. And I love that you're sitting here with her and supporting her through this. So, uh, Erica, this is all on you. Where would you like to start your story today? Do you want to go back to a kid and kind of go from there, or?
Yeah, sure can. Mine mostly started. My dad was in the Persian Gulf War. He's in the Army.
mm-hmm.
And after I came back, there was a lot of like PTSD stuff, I think, going on with him. And he never went and sought help. So he started having like the angry outburst stuff. And then he started coming more like sexual advanced toward me. I'm sorry, I'm so nervous. This is horrible. Okay.
No, you're good. You're good. It's okay. Deep breath.
Or you were just nervous before you guys got on.
I talked to my dad about like him getting really physical and violent with us. So that's when he kind of went the other direction with me and started being a little bit overly attentive and nurturing and started doing like sexual advances and stuff. And I lived with that from the time that I was 5. Like he would have me go and inappropriately cuddle with him and do like petting and stuff like that. And then I would say by the time my teenage years hit, it was mainly just the physical abuse, and he would have like his anger outbursts. And then more when I was in my late teens, he started with the sexual abuse again. And I got out of that with him. And it was like I talked to my mom about stuff that was going on with him, but she didn't believe me. And she told everyone that I was a liar, like called all my friends and their moms and told them that if I told this story, I was lying and I was nothing but a liar. And they didn't want to hear, so they sent me away. So they didn't have to listen to any of the lies, apparently.
Where did they
I'm
send
sorry.
you to? Like a mental facility or like a rehab, like addicts?
They sent me to a rehab facility in Leon, Iowa. 2-3 hours away from here. Started out first, they had me on the PMIC unit, so it was like mental.
Okay.
For mentally handicapped and troubled kids and stuff like that. Then they said I didn't need to be there. I was addicted to drugs because I smoked pot before I got sent away. So because I smoked pot, I was addicted to drugs. Okay. So they sent me over there, and I stayed over there in the drug rehab part for like a year and a half.
Wow. So not only were you made to feel like you were lying and ashamed, but you were also humiliated in the fact that they basically let all your friends know what you had said and what was going on, and then sent you away to keep you quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's terrible. I'm so sorry you went through that. How old were you when they sent you away?
Initially, it was a week before my 13th birthday,
Oh,
and I
wow.
didn't actually get to come home until my 17th birthday. So 4 years.
So that was shortly after I left Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And were you able to like continue school? I mean,
Kind of. They had like a on-campus facility, and I went and did school there, but a lot of my credits didn't transfer.
oh wow.
So when I got out of rehab and went back to my senior year of high school, I had to work really hard to be able to graduate.
So just multiple setbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get to graduate high school then?
It took a lot of work, though.
Yeah, yeah. Well, good for you though, doing that work and finding the strength to still figure that out, even though your parents silenced you, sent you off, you weren't supported through what you had, what one parent had put you through, which is absolutely terrible. I'm so sorry.
How was your relationship with your mom?
With my mom, it's always been very back and forth. Like, she would alienate me and dismiss me, and like, she would talk bad about, she'd tell my kids how crazy I was and how horrible of a mother I am. And she would act like she hated me, and then she would have periods of love bombing, and like,
Mhm.
I couldn't do anything wrong in her eyes. And if I ever tried to like talk to her about anything, it was like total denial of everything. And I misremembered everything she told me.
Now, do you honestly believe that she knew the truth, that she knew that you weren't lying?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't see how you could not see it, but
Right, right.
I think that now as a mother, we can definitely tell. There's no way we aren't going to notice that our kids are being abused.
Right.
Um, Definitely lots of signs there. You just have to turn a blind eye completely.
And when I was in rehab, there was, I think, 4 different therapists I saw that told my mom, you cannot deny it. She has been sexually abused. We don't know by who, because I won't tell them. But they said that every single symptom of somebody who had been sexually abused was there. And they're like, you need to find out who did this. I kept telling her, she wouldn't believe me. So,
Um, did you end up ever telling anyone at the home that they had sent you to, or the place that they had sent you away to? Did you end up telling anyone there who had done that to you, or did you always just keep that to yourself?
I told one therapist,
Mm-hmm.
and my parents found out about that and were mad about that, so they made to where I couldn't see her anymore. So they made me switch therapists. So I was like, well, I'm never telling anyone again. So I did tell anyone
Yeah.
else.
right.
Right. That's terrible. I'm so sorry.
Once you returned home from there, did the abuse continue?
For a long time there was nothing. And then when I had to move back into the house with my kids, it was the sexual attention was kind of turning back to me, and then kind of directed at my girls too.
So at that time, you were an adult.
Yeah,
Wow.
and that's why I was like, no way, getting out of this.
Absolutely.
So were you able to keep him away from you then at that point? Like you were able to stop it? He listened when you told him no?
Well, yeah, on my 18th birthday, I was like, I can't do this anymore, so I moved out. So it's like, it was kind of, I could could have stopped him becoming physical with me, but it was like he'd get mad, start the mental abuse that much more, and make
Mhm.
me feel like I was trash because I wouldn't have anything to do with him like that. And I
Yeah.
just couldn't take it anymore, so I moved out when I was 18 and made a bunch of mistakes.
Well, I mean, what else can happen with an 18-year-old, who's been through what you had been through by that point in your life, right? I mean, there was no good path for you at that point. Because you hadn't had, people to look up to and set good examples for you and people who supported you. So after you moved out, UV asked about the relationship with your mom. What happened with the relationship with your dad?
Um, Me and I become very distant,
Yeah.
and there's me like my mom had cancer, and I went and actually stayed and took care of her, and
Mhm.
now my dad's going through stuff, and I contact on him constantly, and like I'll do health updates, and if Oscar comes, stay there and take care of him. And it's like, I get so mad at myself because, like, on one hand, I want to cut ties and not have anything to do with him. On the other, it's like, he's my dad.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time juggling that.
I get You are a far better person than I am. I could not.
Well, after you moved out, you said it wasn't very good for you. So, I mean, do you want to talk about any of that, or do you want to, fast forward ahead and talk about when things started to get good for you? Or
um, well, I think a lot of it was like when I first moved out, I moved from one abusive situation to another one, but the one where I moved out with, the guy eventually married.
Mhm.
The abuse wasn't as bad as what I'd been through with my dad. So in my mind, I kept telling myself, like, this isn't that bad. I've been through worse. And it was like, I just had that thought in my head, like, I cannot, um, get through this. I'm strong. I know I am. When things started to bother me, like with my first husband, it was more I just blame myself for being mentally weak and not being able to deal with it.
Well, or mental?
Yeah, there's a lot of mental and physical.
Okay.
He'd get mad at me and start hitting me. There was one time when I was pregnant with my oldest son. He got mad at me because I didn't want him to go doing drugs. So he got mad at me and picked me up by my throat when I was like 9 months pregnant.
Mm.
So I grabbed his face and tore his face up, and the cops got called. So I did that, and I was like, I never stood up for myself at all before that point. It was like I wasn't sticking up for me. It was like the only thought I had was my son.
Yeah.
And like it's the only thing that has ever made me realize I have to improve my life to make me better for them.
Right. Right.
Do you think that having gone through what you went through with your dad made you paranoid at all with your kids towards like their father, like a little like PTSD or something, constantly thinking that that's happening to them or seeing red flags where there's possibly no red flags?
Yes, there was a lot of like I've noticed like my kid's dad would say like a phrase or something that my dad would say, like telling them they did a good job. Something so innocent, him telling them they did a good job. That was normally a precursor to like the blood bombing and the sexual abuse phase with my dad. So every time my husband would say that to my kids, it would send me in a spiral. I would have to like talk myself out of it. Like, okay, it's not occurring now. You're okay.
Yeah. That makes sense. That is part the grooming process,
Mhm.
Right. So how long were you with your first husband that was abusive towards you? How long were you stuck in that situation?
With him, I was with him for what, a year and a half, and then we got divorced because he he was constantly cheating. He was constantly leaving me on my own. Um, he got to where he would start being abusive to my son. Like there was one time he was colicky and he was crying and I couldn't get him to stop crying. And
Hmm.
he was my husband was trying to sleep for work. So he got up, started screaming and yelling at my son, who was like 3 months old at the time.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where like, okay, I need to get out of this, can't do this. And then it was like I bounced from that to another bad relationship. And then when I finally found something good, it was like there's so many things going on in my head to where it's like I don't deserve something good. It's
Oh,
gonna turn bad on me. I know it's gonna turn bad. So I would never let anything good happen to me. So it's like I would self sabotage.
yeah.
Right.
That's what we do when, you've had all these horrible things happen to you and so many bad things put into your head, that's what you come to believe. It's not your fault.
Right? Like, especially with your mom not protecting you and your dad doing what he did. It's like when we go through abuse like that as kids, we're getting programmed to accept forms of abuse and dismiss terrible things that happen to us, by alienating us from those around us or, spreading rumors. It's very isolating, very depressing. And then it makes you wonder as you grow up, oh, well, maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe this isn't as bad as I'm making it seem. I'm probably just being dramatic because the people that were supposed to take care of us are telling us to, shut up. It's not
Right.
true. So very easy to continue getting into terrible relationships because that's pretty much all we've known.
Hmm.
And to expand on that, like there was a long time that I thought I was a bad person because it was like I am self sabotaging myself for one. And I keep telling myself that all this stuff happened and they're saying it didn't happen. So I'm like, I'm crazy and I'm making these things up. And
Yeah.
I felt like I was a bad person. Like, what kind of horrible person would say that stuff that isn't true about their parent?
I think that mental part of it, that mental abuse is what sticks with you. And when you're told something so many times, you start to believe it. I think that's why you self sabotage and why you honestly believe that you don't deserve anything good because you've been told your entire life what type of person you are. And I think you genuinely start to believe that.
Mhm. You
Right.
start to believe you're trash and you
Right.
don't deserve anything
Right.
better.
And that everything bad that happened to you, you caused it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which, and I can tell you, I know that's changed every single one of us with our kids. My kids say every day how amazing they are, how beautiful, handsome, gorgeous, how proud I am, and it, it sucks that we had to go through that to really learn, what our kids deserve. It would have been nice to just be shown that so that we knew that that's just how you treat people. But luckily we figured that out, right? And we didn't turn around and do the same to our kids.
And
Yeah.
that's our part about trying to like break the cycle of abuse. Is like I know my dad went through stuff,
Right.
and he decided to repeat that cycle with me.
Right.
And I've tried to break that cycle, but I'm not perfect. I know I've caused a lot of stuff with my kids.
And I
But
think you've done a wonderful job. I'm witness to it.
I think so too.
Oh, I don't think her kids ever doubt for a second how loved they are.
Yeah, and I've met your kids and they are some of the most, they're very respectful, they're sweet kids, they're kind, they're loving. You can tell how helpful they are. You've done a great job.
or I know I would have periods where it's like when I came out being so burdened with my situations. Like, I got to where my emotions were almost raw and I could not take any kind of stress. And like, I've shut down.
Yeah.
So being a mom on top of it, like there was times where I would just shut down and I'd be like, okay guys, shut up and go away. And I feel horrible for that now. But like looking back on it, it's like I don't know what else I could have done.
That's the PTSD. It does not allow you to, you don't have the same capacity as someone without it to handle those type of feelings. There's really not anything. And I think honestly, shutting down is far better than actually taking it out
Right.
on your children.
Yes.
Absolutely. And you're accountable. I mean, listen to you speaking right now. You're very accountable for it. I'm sure you've held yourself accountable for it, with them. And that's what matters at the end of the day, is that we come back and we recognize that maybe some of the behaviors that we exhibited with them were not okay, and that we apologize for that, and, show them that we've changed. So, yeah. So how many relationships did you go through that were not good?
When I moved out of the house, I went through 2 relationships that were abusive. And then I got with my husband, and we were young, obviously, and dumb. And it's like we were having the same arguments that raised red flags for me from previous relationships. And like instead of working through it like an adult should, I shut down, ran away. So we ended up getting divorced for about 3 years. And in that time, I was with 2 other guys that were abusive. And then we got back together.
Okay.
So it's like, it's that self sabotaging thing again. It's like, I couldn't accept that this could be better. I was like, no, it's going to get bad. I know it's going to get bad. So it's like, let me get out of here before it get bad.
So the one in between, one of them in between her marriages to her current husband is one that, if you're comfortable with, I'd like you to talk about, because it affected her in a way that none of the other abusive relationships have. And to me, when I look at her and I hear about that, I am just amazed at how strong she is. And I think coming back from really says a lot.
Gonna make me cry.
Oh,
You guys are gonna make me cry.
I'm amazed. Once you hear it, you'll understand, sitting here with her now and what she went through and her outlook and what an amazing person she is, and she still manages to be so happy. It's
I know.
just, I
She's
don't know.
always happy.
I honestly, I might, yes, I might be a better person. Like, honestly, I think I would hate the world, but she does not.
Yeah.
I got together with this guy because my dad had started, I moved out and moved back in with my parents. And my dad had started big comments to me about like how beautiful my girls were and how attractive they were, which sent up red flags. I was
Right.
like, no way. So I immediately moved out their house, and I thought it would be a good idea to move straight in with some guy that I didn't even really know. And we started a relationship. And it started with him drinking all the time. And he would get like anger outbursts. He'd be eating kill most of the time. There's like all of a sudden volcano erupted and he would be mad over nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Is that solely alcohol driven, or even without the alcohol?
even without the
Okay,
alcohol, a lot of times, it's like the alcohol exacerbated it. It's
Okay,
like,
made it much worse.
yeah, it made his calm periods much more calm. But then, like, when he had the explosive periods, it was like there's no
To the
end
extreme.
to it. Yeah, it was just like a volcano erupting, and it was like he was just go irate, ballistic.
Okay.
And there's one time, I can't remember what we were arguing about, something really stupid. But he'd gotten upset with me, and he punched me in my mouth, and it cracked my tooth. I got meningitis in my brain from that. And I was in the hospital for 2 months for that. I had to relearn how to walk and relearn how to talk. So that's why my speech is really muddled.
Which it's not as bad as you think it is, darling. You sound great. Yeah.
Thank you.
She's definitely different. I like to joke with her. She says it about herself, but it is kind of funny. She just finds a way to make light of it. So with her walk, it's just funny. She told me, most people probably think that she's drunk most of the time. So she is the only person who could be totally drunk without ever touching a drop of alcohol.
I probably
Yeah.
want better than.
So it broke your tooth and an infection from your tooth caused meningitis in your brain? Wow, that's scary. Meningitis is very scary.
She's lucky to be alive, and that's why I said I look at just what that one experience did to her and how much it changed her vision. She can't have a driver's license. She'll never walk the same. She'll never talk the same.
I mean,
And
you can't.
yet she's
You probably
sitting
never
here.
will.
And
Yeah, and she could probably never work again, right? I would assume.
Yeah.
right. And I mean, to me, that would have been my whole life. I don't know that I would come out on the other side quite as well as she did. It just amazes me her outlook and the type of person she is even after all of that.
Before I got sick, I was going to college to be a physical therapist. I was CNA. My son's autistic, and I was dealing with all those behavior issues and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then this happens, like, I lost my ability to work. I lost my ability to be my son's safe place.
His caretaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like,
Primary.
for a long time, I lost everything on who I was and everything. It's like I was so depressed. And then I saw what me depressed was doing to my kids. It was like, I can't sit around and feel sorry for myself. It's killing them. So that's a lot of what helped pull me out of my feeling sorry for myself.
Okay.
Oh, kids are pretty amazing human beings. They will pull strength out of us we never knew we had. That's for sure. So after he did this to you, and then you were in the hospital for 2 months, like was that it with him, or like did he come see you, or how did that whole situation?
Were charges ever filed?
in
Did he ever get in
yeah.
trouble? I mean, anything?
Any trouble at all. And it was more of a he convinced me there was an accident that what actually happened is I stepped forward as he was trying to point at me. And that's what did it. And me being stupid naive.
That pointer
It's like,
finger
well, maybe
back
that's
at you?
what it was. And so, like, for probably about a month after I got out of the hospital, I was like, well, I'll try to work it out with him because I'm the one in the wrong. And then it just snapped me into reality one day. I was like, I can't be imagining this the wrong way. I was there. I know what happened. I'm not stupid, so.
Pointer fingers never broke anybody's tooth. that I know of.
Exactly.
That's crazy that he tried to make you think. Well, I mean, that's what they do, right? Especially if they know. I mean, like your situation, he probably figured you were going to come out of that and not really remember. So he could make up anything he wanted, and hopefully you were going to believe it, right? I mean, it's fucked up.
I mean, well, you're the one that's so messed up and had your own dad. Don't even want nothing to do with you. So obviously you're a liar, and that's why your relationships are so bad because you're a liar. So I really did for a long time think it was me and I was the bad person. I was wrong and I was remembering.
Right. Right. That's what they do.
And there's a lot of things like with the meningitis, like I couldn't remember a lot of things before that happened very clearly. And I thought, well, maybe that's one of those things that I remembered wrong.
Incorrect. Did you get memories back? Did it get better as time went on? Okay.
Was he the last one before you got back with like your current husband now?
Yeah. And I know that I've had to work through a lot of like I still try to do the self sabotaging, and I've had to work through a lot with trying to figure out like what is and isn't a red flag, what is and isn't able to be worked through. And I tend to blow things out of proportion. I have a hard time trusting myself and my perception because I feel like I've either been a stepping stone or doormat my whole life, or I've been like the overreactive one.
But
So
I
I'm trying to
don't
find
think that you really are overreactive. I think that is from the years of being told that that's what you are, that you're blowing it out of proportion, or that it's
Right.
not true. Like, personally, I don't think that you do. I feel like I've known you long enough. I don't think that you overreact at all. I think maybe in your head you feel that way.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm sure everybody shares those feelings. And I ask constantly for advice, and I say, "I overreacting? Should I feel this way about this?" You know.
Yeah.
So I don't think that you are.
Or I
No.
get afraid of like my being I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. Like, am I being overly critical of things? Like, I notice that if something does raise red flag, like, instantly my first thought, my first reaction is get out of here.
Yeah, you get inside your own head.
Yes, like I full panic.
I'm not sure that you can actually be, after everything you went through, overly critical. I think it's more of a talking to your partner about concerns and saying, maybe I am being overly critical, but this is how I feel about this.
I say that sometimes we forget that when that happens, it's not that we're being overly critical or dramatic. It was just the way that our brain allowed us to survive um, situations. You know, we learn to read the room, we learn to behave around people's emotions. So we can easily pick up things a lot more because it's what helped us stay safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you had to, you're trying to unlearn 20 years worth of things that 20 plus years worth of things that uh, really weren't the way to be taught anyway. So you're trying to unlearn that and unlearn your responses to those things. It's very hard to do. It's not easy.
Yeah. Like the whole you're trying to parent yourself and teach yourself these things that you should have been learning all along. Like you were saying, it's like trying to all the stuff that you've been you supposed to learn from childhood on. It's like you don't know anything and you're just out in the world trying to do it all. It's like it's hard to get that.
You have to unlearn and relearn.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. For sure.
How is he now? How is he with you? Like his understanding of your emotions and how you might be feeling and why sometimes you react the way that you do. Is he patient with that? Is he understanding about it? Does he not understand it?
But he is kind of had a learning curve with it too. Like I used to be very overreactive about things. Like I would just be eating kill and then I would go into like panic mode and
Right.
just save the world. And it was just him like he would talk to me about making sure that the kids are picked up this time. And I'd be like, okay, I'm playing out a horrible mother because this and that. It's like I would overreact.
One of those trigger things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's been a learning curve for him, but now he's got to where he realizes certain phrases that can be triggering for me, and he's learned like certain attitudes are triggering. So he's kind of developed with me and learned, okay, I need to approach things this way, say things this way.
That's good.
That's very good. That's great that he's doing that for you.
Her husband, I think, has come a long way with her and their communication and things like that. Um, even since, in the 6 years that we've been back in Iowa, like I feel like I've seen him change a lot with her.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
All
That's
good
awesome.
changes.
Yeah, you're growing together. You're growing and evolving together. That's what we're supposed to do with our partners and companions. Oh, that's great. I'm so proud of you. You know, for where you've ended up, right? Your path hasn't been easy. It hasn't been a good one, but you've come out on the other side stronger with an amazing attitude. I mean, like she said earlier, you're always happy. Anytime I've ever seen you, you're just always happy go lucky. You bring the positivity and the energy to the room, and I love that because you know you could have completely went the other direction, right? Just been bitter and angry with the world and treat people the same way that you've been treated. But I love that you've went the other direction with that, and chose to not be that person, to be a better person and to figure out how to unlearn those things and be the best that you can for your kids. It's amazing. Very inspiring.
Thank you. Oh, I guess it's been a very long process. Like I thought when I got out of abusive situations and got to a better situation, it would be like instantly turn things around, things better. But it's been like a lifelong recovery process. I
Right.
think that's the part that's really got to me the most. Like
Yeah.
things I didn't see as an issue are all suddenly an issue. And like I always constantly have to change, evolve, and work hard on things that I didn't see were a problem before.
Yeah. That's the important part is that you do, like, you recognize it and you do continue to work on it. You didn't just stop and say, okay, this is where I am, this is where I'm staying.
It's hard because there's sometimes like my kids are growing up and they're looking to me for answers
Right.
on like how do I handle relationships with friends. How do I handle my emotions when it comes to this? Like, nobody was ever there to teach me. So I am just pulling out thin air and I'm like, well, we'll try this. It's like I'm trying to learn with it.
Right. Right.
It's
Yeah.
hard because they're looking at me for answers. And it's like, I don't have none.
I do have one question for you. What advice would you give to somebody who is experiencing like something similar to what you went through? As far as how to get out of those situations, like things that you would do differently. What would you say to somebody who is wanting to escape that situation?
Definitely trust that you are stronger than you give yourself credit. And you will be better off if you move on from the stuff. Because your abusers are great at making you think you're weak and you can't survive without them. And that's the one thing I would tell anyone that's ever in that situation is believe in yourself, know that you are strong and you will be so much better of a human being away from that person or away from that situation. And look to get help because having help makes you, yeah, you get out of that situation physically, but mentally it's like you're stuck there repeating it and repeating those bad situations.
Yeah, that's a very good advice. Thank you. Um, okay, so one other thing that I want to do for this podcast is start like a playlist on Spotify, Apple, podcasts, like a Survivor playlist. So if you had to give us one song that is just your absolute favorite that's gotten you through a lot of hard times, what would it be?
Oh, honestly, it wouldn't be like a song necessarily, it would be like an artist. Linkin
Yeah.
Park, I would say, got me through so much.
Who was it?
Linkin Park.
Oh, Lincoln Park. Yes, yes, yes. That's good. Is there any particular song of theirs that's your favorite?
Hmm. I would say "Given Up" is actually like lyrically, it described me and helped me put my feelings, my emotions into words. And that song, I know it sounds weird, but that song that I heard and like is holding a mirror up to myself. Like those emotions were put into words, and then I could look at them as a third party, I guess, and be like, "Oh, I need to change this." So I definitely say that song helped me.
Erica, thank you so much for being here with us today, for telling your story. It's a very inspiring story, and I hope that if there's someone listening today that your story helps them. So thank you so much for joining us and just for being brave enough to come on and do this. It's not easy. I know that. Thanks so much again for joining us this week, and we'll see you next week. Bye, loves.